Okay, so can I delete? Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second EISA workshop. It is 9:05 right now, but we're still expecting more people to join. So let's just give it 5 minutes and we'll officially start the workshop at 9:10. Thank you. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2026 workshop. This is our second workshop for Pharmacy Assistant Basic for the year. Please take note of the following. This session is scheduled for 3 hours. It will start now. That's 9:10 until 12 o'clock. Please stay until the end to get all the necessary information firsthand. You have the option to ask questions throughout the session by making use of the Q&A function on either the MS Teams, YouTube, or Facebook. And towards the end of the workshop, you will be requested to complete a survey to confirm your attendance and also rate the workshop. You'll also have another opportunity to ask questions. This presentation will be made available on the SAPC website with that link below, but you can also get it as well on Facebook and YouTube. In terms of the presenters for today, it's myself. My name is Buseleza Mokhano. I'm the manager in the pre-reg exam unit. We have our two facilitators, Ms. Khadija Omar and Ms. Ina van Niekerk. Between the two, they will go through the format of the EISA or the examination, preparation for the calculation as well as the general section. And as I said, at the end of the session, we will have an option then to go through the question. I'll also just take you through the remote examination, how it works and what to consider before preparation for taking the exam. Thank you so much. I'll hand over to Ms. Khadija Omar to start with the format of the assessment.
Good morning and welcome all of you. I'm just going to share my screen so we can start with the presentation. So can you see the screen? Am I sharing my PowerPoint?
Not yet. Oh yeah, now I can see it. Yes,
okay.
just
Right,
not seeing you. Oh, you went.
Let me just put it onto the PowerPoint.
Yes, I can see it now. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. So we will go through the format of the workshop as well as I will continue until the calculation section, and Ina will then take over after that. Okay, so this is the Pharmacy Support Personnel Pharmacist Assistant Basic EISA online workshop, and it is dated the 26th of May. The format of the workshop is such. We will go through the format and content of the examination. We will look at the preparation for calculation questions as well as general questions, and we will do some examples of calculation and general questions where you will actually go into a simulated environment and you will then go through the format of the questions, and you will actually be given an opportunity to do some of the questions yourself. They will then discuss details on the actual remote online examination and how to navigate the website. Okay, so the format of the EISA for the basics, the exam, it is an open book online examination. It has 100 multiple choice questions. The overall pass mark is 50% and there's no negative marking. So you need to make sure that you answer all the questions and make sure that you go through and make sure that all the questions are answered, because there's no negative marking. All right. The calculation section, there are 16% of your paper is MCQs. So that means there are 16 MCQs, and you have to pass that section on its own. So you need 50% in the MCQs for calculations, and the 84 questions on the general section, you need to pass that separately as well, and that's a sub minimum of 50%. So you need to get 42 of those questions correct. You have 3.5 hours in which you need to complete this exam. All right. The questions are related to the exit level outcomes and are based on tasks that have to be performed by candidates in the following sectors: the community, institutional, manufacturing, and wholesale sectors. So we give you questions that cover all of these sectors. So if you are working in a particular sector, you do need to have information to be able to answer questions in the other sectors as well. Okay, so the exam content, the ELO, that are covered are ELO 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so ELO 1 covers apply basic scientific knowledge to provide technical support in delivering pharmaceutical services. ELO 2 to provide technical support for the receiving, storing, picking, packing, and distributing of orders, to perform stock counts and participate in stock taking in compliance with current GMP, current good manufacturing practice, good wholesale and distribution practices, and good pharmacy practice requirements. ELO 3 provide technical support for the manufacture, packaging, and repackaging of non-sterile medicines and scheduled substances in compliance with GMP guidelines under the supervision of a pharmacist. And ELO 4 provide technical support for the compounding, manipulation, and preparation of non-sterile medicines and scheduled substances, extemporaneous preparation, compounding that is, in compliance with standards as described in the GPP rules and the GMP guidelines under the supervision of a pharmacist. Okay, so what is the exam based on? So we're looking at the exit level outcomes and the percentages. So ELO 1 will cover 40% of your paper. ELO 2 will cover 25% of your paper. ELO 3 will be 15% of your paper. And ELO 4 will be 20% of your paper. Okay, so ELO 1, the basic part of your paper, and that counts for 40%. What should you be able to do? You should be able to apply legislation related to the relevant scope of practice in pharmaceutical services in the South African context. You must be able to demonstrate ethical and professional conduct related to the relevant scope of practice in the provision of pharmaceutical technical support services. You must be able to apply basic pharmaceutical terms and concepts concerning non-sterile drug delivery systems and their routes of administration, and apply basic scientific principles and perform basic scientific calculations. ELO 2 covers 25% of the question, and you should be able to conduct distribution and control of the stock of medicines, scheduled substances, and medical devices according to standard operating procedures and per current GMP, GPP, and GWDP guidelines. You need to pick, pack, and secure orders for medicines or scheduled substances according to all requirements and check that orders are dispatched according to SOPs. You need to complete documents and maintain records following applicable legislation and SOPs. And you need to be able to participate in stock counts and answer questions related to that. ELO 3 counts for 15% of your paper, and candidates must be able to apply pharmaceutical and current GMP principles and legislative requirements in the manufacture, packaging, and or repackaging of non-sterile medicines and scheduled substances. Organize and prepare resources, materials, and equipment for the preparation of specific medicines following relevant SOPs and process documentation. Handle materials with due regard for environmental and storage conditions, transport and security requirements. Participate in manufacturing processes for non-sterile medicines and scheduled substances. Pack and repackage medicines and scheduled substances following GMP, ethical principles, relevant legislation, process documentation and SOPs, and authorized by a pharmacist. And complete all documents and maintain records following CGMP guidelines. And ELO 4 counts for 20% of the paper, and the candidates should be able to apply principles of GPP concerning the compounding of non-sterile medicines and substances. They must be able to answer questions relating to compounding a simple solution, suspension, and semi-solid following instructions, formulas, the relevant SOPs, process documentation, and using the principles of current GMP and or GPP for specific patients. Complete records for each of the preparations produced following legal requirements and organizational policies and procedures. Check and clean equipment according to SOPs, perform housekeeping activities according to SOPs, and operate personal computers to generate documents and spreadsheets. All right, so the types of questions, the level 1 questions covered knowledge and comprehension. Level 2 questions are application questions. And level 3 questions are higher level questions where they include analysis, synthesis, and evaluation in order to come to the answer. So in terms of preparing for your exam, the administrative task is to make sure when the date and time is the exam. So be aware of exactly the date and time. And where are you writing the exam? Are you going to write it in a specific location? Are you going to Pharmacy Council's offices? Are you writing it at home? And what resources do you need before you start the exam? And make sure that you have access to all of that beforehand. Then in terms of preparation for the exams, how can I prepare? Which references do I need and how do I use the references? And also, how long do I need to prepare? So make sure that you give yourself enough time to prepare for the exam and that you have access to the references during your preparation time. And then for the exam, what do you need to bring? And how does the online exam work? And how long is the exam? So you need to have confidence in all of these areas and that all of these are up to date before you actually come in for the exam so that there's no stress once you start writing. The tips for preparations: use the latest reference material. And a lot of online references are available. So it's easy to have the latest information at your fingertips. Check for current events, pandemics, epidemics locally and globally. Keep abreast with the latest developments or information. Course notes may be irrelevant. Check if the information is still valid. Familiarize yourself with each reference material. So you can index your reference books and make sure that you are aware of how to access the topics that you need to cover. Never use reference material that you have not used before. It will take you a lot of time to find the information, and time is of the essence in this exam. Also, learn from your work environment in terms of SOPs and any material that you have access to. And also ask for assistance from your colleagues, supervisors who have written the exam before or who have assisted others in preparing for the exam. So we are now at the calculation questions blueprint. The distribution of calculation questions according to the ELOs. So ELO 1 has 31% of the questions, and they are basic questions that need to be answered, and they cover quite a bit of the exam paper. ELO 2 is 19%, but the largest number of questions come from ELO 4. Right, so let's look at it. The ELO 1 questions are basic scientific principles and they are basic conversions. And we said that they cover 31% of the paper. Stock management is ELO 2. So we look at questions relating to stock consumption, reconciliation calculations in stock management, and the cost of value of stock questions. And you'll have a look at these when we do the activity and the examples. And then ELO 4, we cover compounding, manipulation, and preparation. And this is relating to extemporaneous compounding. And you'll see that this covers the biggest part of the calculation questions. So the type of questions we will be asking you are relating to calculate quantities of ingredients according to a formula, to prepare an extemporaneous preparation, to prepare an extemporaneous formulation, and to reconciliation calculations in repackaging operations. And we talk about reconciling the number of labels or the number of packaging units that we have used during repackaging. Okay, the textbooks that are recommended for the calculations. So the pharmaceutical calculations by H.C. Ansell, Calculations for Pharmaceutical Practice by A.J. Winfield and I.O. Edefigo, the 4th edition, and Pharmaceutical Practice, again by A.J. Winfield, J.A. Rees, and I. Smith. Please note that the textbooks are of more value before the exam than actually during the exam, because if you're going to start looking for how to do calculations in the textbooks, you're going to waste a lot of time. So also, all the calculation types in these textbooks may not be applicable to the exam that you are writing. And so if you are going to use these books, I would suggest you use them more for looking for examples and doing the calculations rather than a resource or reference book during the exam. So use this rather for preparation rather than a reference source. Okay, so the tips and advice, we need to understand the principle and do not memorize the calculation, because the minute we can change the wording of the question, and you will be completely lost if you have memorized the calculation. What you need to know is that the different units that we use. So what are SI units, for example? If you see the word percentage weight per volume, it automatically relates to grams per 100 mol. So don't just think that it is grams per milliliters. It is grams per 100 moles. So you need to be aware that percentage weight per volume, the answer must be in grams per 100 mole. So please be aware of all the SI units, from kilogram to microgram to milligram to liters. You need to know that because those are the units we work with. What equipment will you use for the calculations? A scientific calculator. Please don't come in with the new calculator for your exam, because you may actually not know how to use it correctly. So use the same one that you have been practicing with. You will check your batteries and maybe bring in extra batteries if you feel that you're under pressure, or come in with two calculators and know the settings of your calculator. Come in with sufficient pen and paper, so that you don't have any stress relating to the equipment that you are going to use. So the calculation tips. Practice converting between units. So this is the most important, because I find that if you can do this, it's very, very easy for you to do the calculations. So just let's have a look at it. It goes micrograms to milligrams. So if you look from micrograms to kilograms, we are going from the smallest unit to a larger unit. And every time we want to convert, we are dividing by 1,000. So it'll be micrograms divided by 1,000 will give you milligrams, divided by 1,000 will give you grams, divided by 1,000 will give you kilograms. So if we are going to now go the other direction from kilograms to micrograms, we are going to multiply by 1,000. So 1 kilogram multiplied by 1,000 will give you 1,000 grams. 1 gram multiplied by 1,000 will give you 1,000 milligrams. And 1 milligram multiplied by 1,000 will give you 1,000 micrograms. So please know that this is a nice slide to have, because it just shows you, it'll save you time when doing your calculations. Okay, so calculation tips in terms of managing time. You need to maximize your time. So you have 42 minutes in which to do 16 multiple choice questions. So approximately 2.6 minutes a question. And that's really not a long time. So what's important is that you read the question, you read the options, you relook at the questions, you determine the calculation, you determine how you're going to continue with this, and you then do the calculation, look at your options, and put in your answer. Always put in an answer, even if you're not too sure, because there's no negative marking. So do not leave anything blank. And apply your mind. Like we said, don't swat off or memorize any calculations. Apply your mind, read the question, do the calculation, and put in the answer. If there's one that you don't know, skip it, come back to it later. Don't waste time on calculating the ones that you are not sure. Okay, we now have the calculation examples. And Pusuletso, you're going to access the link and actually go in and start doing the calculations right now. And we are going to then go through it with you. Pusuletso will be sharing the outcomes of your interaction and input into this section of the course, the facilitation this morning. Pusuletso, will we be able to share?
Yes, I can. Do you want me to share now or wait until everyone is done?
I think we can wait until everyone is done. Pusuletso, how much time will we give them?
We can give them 10 minutes. So it's almost 9:30. So we can return at 9:40.
Okay, perfect. All right. So we'll give you 10 minutes and we will return at 9:40.
Thanks, Khadija.
Thank you. Okay, you still have a few minutes in which to complete the answers. We will then go through them, each one at a time. So please take your time. We've still got a few minutes. Okay, I see that you guys are working through the questions. We're going to give you an additional 10 minutes. So we'll be back at 10 to 10 because we do have quite a few participants on the groups, but we're not seeing sufficient responses. So we'll give you all another 10 minutes and we will then open the floor to discuss the responses at 10 to 10. So you all have extra 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you, all of you, for your participation. We will now go through the questions. For people who are having problems, please pay attention to as we go through the questions, and you can then revise them on your own time once you have access to the recording. All right, so we have had the
Teacher, you muted yourself?
Okay, Pusaletso, are we ready to go?
Yes, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, all right, okay. So the first question was convert 5 grams to milligrams. And when you look through earlier in the slideshow, we had the conversion of units table, and we said that if we are going from from a larger unit to a smaller unit, we are going to multiply by 1,000. So we are going to say that for 5 grams to convert it to milligrams, we are going to multiply by 1,000. And so the answer is going to be 5 grams is equal to 5,000 milligrams. And the correct response is number 4. And I see that 27 of the 38 have got that correct. There were 9 responses that said 0.005. 3 responses that said 0.05 and 2 responses that said 500. So please go back to your conversion table, have a look at what were you doing. So the 9 of you were obviously dividing by 1,000 when you were actually supposed to be multiplying by 1,000. So go back to that table. That would be a good reference to keep for the exam, so that you can just see if you are moving in a specific direction. So this way here, we are moving from right to left on that little table. And so it's going to be 5 multiplied by 1,000. So you're going to get 5,000 milligrams. So that's the first answer. Are there any questions? I think we can continue with question number 2. How many medicine measures is 30 mils of cough syrup? So the first thing you're going to ask yourself is that how many milliliters in a medicine measure? And the answer there is 5 milliliters. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 30 milliliters, divide it by 5 milliliters, and the answer is going to be 6 medicine measures. And if we work it the other way around, we're going to say 6 medicine measures, and each medicine measure is 5 milliliters. 6 times 5 will give us 30. So you can double check it that way. And so the correct answer is number 3. So a lot of people, okay, so most of you got it correct, 23 of the 38. 6 people put the answer as 2, 9 is 3, and 4 is 30. So we are to read the question thoroughly. How many medicine measures? So this would be like an application question, because you need to first know how many milliliters in a medicine measure. So please read the questions thoroughly and apply your minds. So how many medicine measures in 30 mils? The correct answer would be 6. And quite a few of you got it correctly. Okay, question number 3. What does 25% mass per volume mean? And remember, we discussed this earlier. We were looking at SI units. So what does 25% mass per volume mean? And it means that how many grams in 100 mils? And so here it will be 25 milligrams per 100 mil. So the correct answer is B, number 2. The first option was 25 grams per 100 mils. 30 of you responded to that. It's not 25 grams. It could be sorry, that would be the correct one, 25 grams per 100 moles. So it would be, the correct answer is A, 25 grams per 100 moles. The second option is 25 milligrams per 100 moles. The third option is 250 grams per 100 moles. And the last option is 250 milligram per 100 moles. So please pay attention. When we're saying percentage, means 25 grams per 100 milliliters. So the correct answer there is the first one, and I see that 71% of you got that correct. Okay, question number 4. What is 50% of 16? All right, and this is a simple percentage conversion. It's a calculation. And what are we going to do? We're going to say 50 divided by 100 multiplied by 16. And the correct answer is 8. And that is option number 2. So the options were 4, which nobody selected. 8, 39 of you selected that. 16, one person selected, and 32, 3 selected. 50% of 16 is 8. 50 divided by 100 times 16. All right. So 91% of you got that correct. Okay. Question number 5. A person weighed 70 kilograms at his previous doctor's visit. At his current visit, the patient lost 5% of his weight. How many kilograms has this patient lost? So you need to read the question thoroughly. What are they asking you? They are asking you how many kilograms has he lost. So you need to be able to calculate what is 5% of 70 kilograms. All right. So you're going to say 5 divided by 100 times 70. And the correct answer there is going to be 3,5. And that would be option 2. And so I see 93% of you got that correct. One person said 7 kilograms and 2 people said 0.35. Remember, put the percentage, 5 divided by 100. That's what 5% means. Multiply by 70. All right, so that will give you 3,5 kilograms, and most of you got that correct. Okay, question number 6. If 20 milliliters of alcohol are added to 40 milliliters of water, what is the ratio of the alcohol to the total solution? So this is also an application question. You need to calculate what is the total solution. So the total solution is 20 mils of the alcohol plus 40 mils of the water gives you 60 milliliters of the total solution. All right. And so now the ratio will be alcohol to total solution. And so the alcohol is 20, the total solution is 60. So it's 20 to 60. And as you simplify it, you will get 1:3. All right. So a lot of you have put in the answer. So that's only 25% of you got this answer correct. A lot of you have put it as 1:2. And you are then calculating the ratio of alcohol is to water. 20 mils of alcohol to 40 mils of water. The total solution you need to calculate as the alcohol plus the water. Please read the question thoroughly. So the total solution came out to 60 milliliters, alcohol plus water, and then you do the calculation, 20 mils of alcohol to 60 mils. All right, so the answer then would be 1:3. Okay, so please note that that one there, a lot of you didn't understand the question or didn't read the question thoroughly. Okay, number 7. During the packaging of a batch of medicine, 1980 labels are used from the 2000 that were originally issued. What percentage of labels must be returned to the dispensary? So we first need to calculate the actual quantity of labels that were not used. So it will be 2000 minus 1980. So it was 20 labels that were not used. So you take the 20 labels and divide that by the 2000 that were originally issued. And so that will be 20 divided by 2000 times 100. And the answer will be 1%, which is option number 2. And majority of you got that right. But when I say majority, it's only 48%. I see a lot of people have just put in the number. 18 of you have said 20. 20 labels were returned, but that is not a percentage of the labels. That is the number of labels. So read the question. If I asked you what number of labels were returned, then 20 is correct. But what percentage of labels were returned? You've got to take 20, divide it by the 2,000, multiply it by 100, and you will then get 1%. And that would be the correct answer. So please read the questions thoroughly. These are not tricky in a way. You just have to read the questions. These are all application questions, by the way. So you have to read the question. If it was a straightforward knowledge question, it would just be how many labels must be returned, and that would be 20. Okay, we now go on to question number 8. 50 medicines or 50 containers of a medicine are counted during a cycle count. Of the 50 containers, 5 are expired, 2 are short dated, and 3 are damaged. Using the information given, how many containers of medicine can be still issued? So if you look at the descriptions, which medicines can we still issue? So from the expired medicines cannot be issued. The short dated medicines can still be issued, and the damaged containers cannot be issued. So of those, which are non-issuable? The 5 expired and the 3 damaged cannot be issued. So that gives us a total of 8 containers of the 50 that cannot be issued. All right. So how many can be issued? So we'll say 50 minus the 8, and the answer is 42. So 42 of the containers can be issued. You have 39% of you got that correct. That is option B, the pink one. So 42 of them can be issued. A lot of you have selected 40 because you have included the short dated stock. Remember, short dated medicine can still be issued because it has not yet expired. All right. So please apply your mind. If it says short dated, does it mean it cannot be used? No, it can be used. So we do need to be able to identify what of those can be issued. And so of the 5 that are expired, we cannot issue them. And the 3 that are damaged, we cannot issue them. But the 2 short dated ones can definitely be issued. So it's only 8 containers of medicine that are non-issuable. And so 42 of them can be issued. Some of you have said 50 can be issued. I'm a bit concerned because the thing is that we cannot issue expired medicines, we cannot issue damaged medicines. Some of you are saying 45. So it seems that you are taking the damaged containers that can be issued as well. And we don't normally issue the damaged containers because we don't know the condition of the medicine in them. So you need to be able to apply your mind. All right. So 42 can be issued. Okay. And number 9, what is the total value of 15 containers of a medicine that costs 130 rands? This is a simple calculation. You're going to take 15, multiply it by 130. You are going to come up to the answer of 1,950 rands. I see a lot of you have got the answer correct. 77% of you have got it correct. There are 2 people that have responded at 0.11. 7 people have said 8.66. 1 person has said 130. What is the total value of the 15 containers? So I want to know what is the cost of those 15 items as a unit. And so the answer is 1,950. The people that have got 0.11, 8.66, 130, please double check your understanding of the question. Total value. So my advice to you is maybe take a highlighter, or if it's an online exam, highlight it to say, what are they actually asking me? What is the total value of 15 containers? I think they have got sample tests. Please go through them so that you can see the type of questions we are asking. And the last question, what percentage weight per volume solution will be obtained when 5 grams of chlorine is added to 500 milliliters of water? Okay, and how are we going to do this? We're going to calculate a simple percentage. 5 divided by 500 is equal to 1 divided by 100 is equal to 0.01. That'll give you, so if you're going to say 0.01 multiplied by 100, you will get 1%. So that would be correct. All right. So it would be 5 divided by 500, but you still want it as a percentage. So it's going to be 0.01 multiplied by 100. Your answer is going to be 1. And that's going to give you, a lot of you have got that correct. So remember, what are they asking you? What is it? What percentage solution is it? All right. So it's a 1% solution. Okay, so 55% of you have got that correct. The others, 0.01, you didn't go further to convert it to a percentage solution. 8 of you got 0.1 and 3 of you got 10%. So please look at your calculations and determine the answers from that table. So this brings us to the end of the calculations. We did get in 44 responses. And so I think that's now time for a coffee break. But if there's any discussions you need to have on your side before we break for coffee, please go ahead.
Thank you, everyone. So we'll return at 10:17 and we'll start with the general session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome back. I'm Ina van Niekerk. I hope you had this quick break. Have you ready after all those calculations that you've done? So we are going to look at the next section, and that will pertain to our general questions. You will remember that they are a lot more than the calculations. Um, just go there. The general questions, you will see it is distributed over all four of our exit level outcomes. And you will notice that the exit level outcome one is about 42% of all the questions. So the majority of the questions then, if you have a quick recap, exit level one is about the knowledge of your scientific principles, your basic knowledge of the basic knowledge there of your scope of practice, your legislation that you have to apply to the questions. The second one is your ELO2 that deals with your stock management. So it is the receiving, storing, picking, packing, distribution, um, stock counts, stock taking, and these are all in compliance with your good manufacturing practices, the wholesale practices, and also your good pharmacy practices. So we must know the guidelines and apply those to these questions. ELO3 and ELO4 is the smallest part of all the questions. This, you will remember, is about manufacturing and also the compounding. So if we look at that, remember with the compounding and preparation, it's only non-sterile medicine that is in our scope, and that we also apply the standards of the GPP, the rules, and also the GMP guidelines. And remember, these always happen under supervision. So you will also notice that we talk about the blueprint. You will remember that all questions are according to a blueprint that ensures that all the exams are valid and that they are repeatable and that we have the same type of outcome and that it's reliable. So we will have the same amount of questions that is on a certain level of cognition and also pertaining to the different sectors of our pharmacy profession. If we look at our exam, we know that it is an open book exam, so that we are permitted to use books. We can have PDF copies. We can also have them as hard copies that we printed, and then we can use online references as well. So with books, it is sometimes difficult to get to the correct answer and know where to find the answers. So you can use, if you work through all your work, you can put in some references to say where is some of those topics that you want to look up in those books. So prepare in advance to make the search for your answers easier. So make sure you know which references you need and make sure it's easy accessible and it's readily available during your exam. So practice your questions, know which reference material are most suitable to answer different topics or questions. So ensure that it is easy for you to get quick answers during the exam. Ensure your references are current. You will remember that with legislation, the Pharmacy Act, it is after the act was published, there were amendments. So make sure that you know which amendments are applicable and that you are looking at the current updates. And also it is applicable to our South African setting. So if you use medicine or um, the any references the um, on the like our guidelines, our SAMF, make sure that it is South African and not international, so that it is for our setting. So what references can we use? You can use the EML, um, the standard guidelines for primary health for pediatrics and hospital level, the Good Pharmacy Practice Manual with the associated rules and ethical rules, the South African Guide to Good Manufacturing, the Pharmacy Act, as you see, it's published in 1974, but with the changes in our profession, there is many amendments to that act. Make sure that you are on par with what is happening in our profession, and the same with the Medicines and Related Substances Act, that you know what is the new regulations, that you use the current information. Online references that are provided when you do your exam, you will see that there is a prompt that you can go and look at references online. Other references that you can consider is the EM guidance. What is important to know about the EM guidance, they update the app regularly. So this is the latest information that is on the app. So that is nice to use, but it is not something that you can use like Google, so that you can get your answer quickly. So you must know where to go and look for your different answers to answer your questions. So work with the EM guidance, know how to use it, know how to get to certain answers. So practice that in advance. So the GPP can be accessed through the SAPC website. The Pharmacy Act is also available on the SAPC website, but for the Medicines and Related Substances Act, you will find the latest one on the SAPRA website. And also on the SAPRA website, you will get the good manufacturing practice and also the good wholesale and distribution practice. So the GMP, WDP, and the Medicines and Related Substances Act, you will find on the SAPRA website. How to find your electronic references on the South African website. So you can go to it's a public website. You don't need to log in. This is available on the landing page, and you will see that orange circle with a little book. If you click on that, you will get to publications. And the ones that we are going to use is the one for legislation and Pharmacia. Pharmacia is pertaining to the changes to our profession, and then the other one is the legislation. If you look there is the Pharmacy Act, and as I said, remember that there are new information and new amendments to the Act after 1974. Look at the consolidated one, make sure that you use the latest updated version. The same with all the other legislations. If you go into the legislation, you will see there are the acts the regulations, rules, board notices, and proposed legislation. So if you click on the Act, you will see the Pharmacy Act. And that you can open and you can have access to the Pharmacy Act. When you click on regulations, it gives you all the latest publications on regulations to the legislation. This is maybe an old um, copy, so there will be updated versions on the SAPC website. There you will see all the amendments. So make sure that you look at the amendments and apply that to the Pharmacy Act. Then the next one is rules. So the second one from the bottom, you will see that that is a good pharmacy practice manual with the associated rules and the ethical rules as well. So very important, you can see it was published some time ago. And after that, there were a lot of new board notices. So make sure that you read through the board notices. You will see that Board Notice 84 of 2018, the minimum standards for the pharmacy premises, the facilities, and equipment were updated. So make sure that you use that latest information when you use the Good Pharmacy Practice Manual. So look at everything that was published after that, read through them, make sure that you know what is the new standards that is applicable. The next one is also board notices. There you can see what is published on CPDs, anything on community service, education standards. So those things you can also look through. Remember, we won't ask you what is Board Notice 80 of 2020 about. We will ask you questions and you will apply what was published in that notice. You don't need to know the notices by heart, but you have to know how to apply the new information. And the last one, there is proposed legislation. Remember, that is something that is proposed. It is pending. It is published for comments to public. So it's draft. So it's not legislation yet. So you won't be tested on proposed legislation. So you can leave that. How to use our reference material. So we know that we have books, we have PDFs that's stored on our computer, or we can use online references. Work through them on your own time before you write your exam so that you know how to get to your answers that you want to the different topics. Remember, more references is not necessarily better. Avoid using reference books that you did not practice with. Using notes from the university, if you studied a long time ago, it can no longer be valid, it's outdated. So make sure that you use valid, current information. Online, sometimes you have a small bandwidth and that can affect your way that you navigate through your exam. So your connectivity, may experience difficulty, and you may have slow responses, and that can cause time restrictions. So please be careful using online. When you do your practice exam, it is good to access those references and download them and then store it on your laptop or your computer and familiarize yourself with these references and where they are applicable, where you can use them. Visit all those websites, the SAPRA, download the latest on the Medicines Act and also the GMP and GWP so that you don't need to access them while you're doing your exam. Helpful tips. As we heard, you must read your question carefully. Make sure that you know what they ask, that you answer what is asked and not what you think maybe is the correct answer. Then you identify the correct statement, which you are sure about, and then you can confirm it by using references if you need to. If you are unsure, leave it open. Don't leave it open. Don't answer it because then you can't go back to answer that question. And then you can come back later and maybe you are more relaxed and you can get to the answer more easily. So some of the terms that are used in the questions are true, is, and correct. So if you see those, you know that there is only one correct answer. If you see terms like accept, false, not, incorrect, you know that you must now answer something that is not fitting, and it will also be only one answer per question that is applicable. Most appropriate, sometimes that one is a bit difficult because it may be that there is somewhere another answer that can possibly maybe be also correct. But you must remember there's always only one that is most appropriate. So look out for those. We will have examples in our questions later on that you will see how you must go about those. You have to manage your time. As you know, you have 84 multiple choice questions for this general part. You have only 168 minutes and there's 4 options. So you have to read through the question, make sure that you understand the question, look at all the options, and then you have to evaluate those options. And you have approximately 2 minutes per question. So with some questions you will go much faster, and with some of those you will need some more time. And if you're left open a question, please go back. We don't have any negative marking, so you don't have any risk of taking a good calculated guess. If you're not sure about the correct answer, don't leave anything blank. Just fill in everything on your answer paper. So that brings us to the end of our presentation, but we have now those questions for the general exam. There is 10 questions, so we see that we need about 2 minutes per question, so I'm going to allow you 6 minutes to do those questions. And then we will work through them and see how we answer them. Why did we understand it incorrectly? Why do we have an incorrect answer maybe? So please go there. We have 6 minutes to answer those questions. During the 6 minutes, we won't have sound, so you have quiet time to concentrate and to answer the questions in full. Thank you. Please answer the questions. We will be looking at the questions about 10:42. I see there's only about 15 responses. We will give it some more time. Let's give it another 2 minutes and see if we can get a few more responses. I see there's still a lot of responses coming in, so we just give it some more time. Um, yeah, it's 10 questions times 2, so it's actually supposed to be 20 minutes, but I think we are already on 15 minutes already, but just give it some more time. Um, there is a lot coming in now. Right. I think we can go and have a look at our responses. If you look at our overview, you will see that it took about 30 seconds per question, so half a minute for the 10 questions. So that is a very good average. So some of the questions that you know the answer, they are much faster to answer than those that you have to think about or read again or just verify with your reference material. I hope that when you were going through these questions that you also applied your mind to see which references would be most appropriate to use to answer the question. If we look at question 1, we will see that 65% of you answered obsolete stock, and that is the correct answer. The answer was, what is the most correct term to use for stock that is at the end of its product's life cycle and has not seen any sales or usage for a set period of time? So that in mind, it's like a definition. So it's a definition of one of those 4 answers. So if you look at our level of cognition, this is on the level of a knowledge question. So if you look at that, you will see that the answer there is the definition for obsolete stock. That is the most correct answer, or the only correct answer, and 52 from the 76 responses answered that one correctly. Unusable stock is a small part. It is because it was not used, so it is not the full description. Unusable stock is not uh, per se at the end of the product's life cycle, so that one is not applicable. Um, there was nothing mentioned about damaged stock, so no respondent answered that one. So expired stock. Expired stock means that it is past the their life cycle. So it doesn't say that it's past there, but it is near the end. So it is actually obsolete stock. That is the definition. So the correct answer there is then 66% of you had that one correct. If we look at question 2, which of the following sectors is the first point of entry for patients seeking healthcare services in the public sector? So you must know your different sectors. You have the public and also the private sector. And then the first entry um, you will see is your primary care. It's your first entry. Hospital care is when you refer patient to the hospital, and when they have the first entry will only be in emergency situations. So the correct answer there is your primary health care. That is also on the level of cognition of knowledge. So that is the correct answer is then public health care. 90% of you answered that one correctly. Question number 3. Which of the following medicine can a pharmacist assistant basic assist in the manufacturing of? So immediately it's your scope of practice, and then you think of non-sterile. So this is not a straightforward question. So you must know the scope. You must know it is non-sterile, and then this is more application. So you will look at all these products, and then you will identify which of those products don't need to be sterile. So you know eye drops are sterile, subcutaneous injections, something that you inject will always be sterile. Your total parenteral nutrition is also something that you inject. So that is also going to be a sterile solution. So the only thing that's not sterile is your suppositories. So the correct answer there is then suppositories, and 54% of you answered that one correctly. So this is an application, so it's a higher level of cognition that you have to think on the scope that you have in the manufacturing, and you know that it's on non-sterile, and then you have to determine which product is not necessarily need to be sterile, and that is your suppositories. So that is a way of thinking when you answer your questions. And then you will also know where to look for the scope. You can look at your reference material um, that will be in the legislation and the scope of a pharmacy assistant basic. Question number 4. Which of the following tasks can a pharmacist assistant basic do in a community pharmacy? So in the previous one, the setting was manufacturing. And then in this question, we are now looking at a community pharmacy. So the setting there, community pharmacy, we are also again on the scope of practice, but you can see that the answers there are not directly from the legislation or from the scope. So you'll have to read through them, and it's also apply. So you look at the application. These are actions in practice. You will capture, you will update, you will counsel, you will perform. So we know with the new legislation, we don't sell any Schedule 1 medication. So we have little access to patients. So we won't counsel patients, and especially not on how to take their medicine. If it's on a prescription and it's prescribed, then this is part of the of the part 3 of your dispensing, and that is when you counsel your patients, and then it's only done by pharmacist assistant basic, post basic, and pharmacists, students, interns under supervision, and also your technicians are also now able to be in that third part of dispensing. You won't never perform any screening test. You do not have access to any Schedule 6 medicine. So please look at your scope of practice again. So most of you have the correct answer. That is capture stock onto the inventory system. And that is the correct answer. So 81% had the correct answer there. Question number 5. What is a tablet that must first be dissolved in water before swallowing, known as? So now this is also not a straightforward question. It is also a, apply or yeah. So you must know the different routes of administration. So if you look at buccal, that is when the tablet is dissolved or the absorption takes place in the cavity between the lips and the gums, or in the cheek of your mouth. So uh, this is not a tablet that dissolves in water before you use it. Modified release. This is tablets that are manufactured, and some of them have a coating, some of them have special systems or layers to modify the release. So they dissolve in different parts of the digestive system. So they are not dissolved before you swallow them. Uh, Sublingual is something that you place under the tongue. And then the correct one is then effervescent. So if you look at products in the pharmacy, you can look at flu medicine that you can put in water that's dissolved, and also some of the vitamins that dissolve before swallowing. So the correct answer there is effervescent. So it's important that you know the different routes of administration and how it's absorbed, and then you will get to the correct answer. Question number 7. Question number 6. Where is the site of administration for a dosage form that use transdermal delivery? So where will you have a dosage form that are transdermal delivered? So is it the eyes, the lungs, the skin, or under the tongue? So we know dermal is related to skin. So know all those related terms, like for cardio, it's the heart, buccal, it's that cavity in the mouth. Learn those type of terms so that you can know what is asked from you. So dermal refers to skin. So that will be then the correct answer. That dosage form will be administered using the skin as a delivery system. 77% of you had that one correct. That is also a definition. So if you look at transdermal, the definition, you will get to the skin. That is a knowledge question. Question number 7. If stock is received on the 3rd of July 2025 with an expiration date of 30 December 2025. So you receive it in July, it expires in December, and there is already stock on your shelf that expires January the next year, and then they say you must use FIFO and show how this stock is packed on the shelf. So read your question. What do they know? They want to know how it's packed. So that's important. And then you must know what is FIFO. First expired, first out. So if you look at your new stock, it expires before your current stock on the shelf. So you will pack those new stock in front of your current because you want the first expired, first out. So you look at your answers, you will see first one, current stock are packed behind the new stock. That's the correct answer. So if you look at the others, you will see your new stock is then expiring first, but you can't put it behind your current stock. New stock next to your current stock, that's not something that we normally do. And then you send the new stock back because it's short dated. It may be correct, but your question asks, how do you pack them on the shelf? So the correct answer there is current stock are packed behind new stock, and 58% of you had that one correctly. This is something that you may not find in your references, but you will know you must know what is FIFO, and that you pack your first expired in front so that you can get that out of your pharmacy first. And that is mostly a work experience type of question that you have to think about. If we look now at question number 8, which of the following statements would apply to a tablet that is packed in an amber bottle? If we look at what is amber, the bottle have a different color, so it's brownish. So amber bottle, it has to do with the color. So the answers are the tablet is temperature sensitive. If it's temperature sensitive, you will have a cold chain, maybe you will pack it in a different environment, or like in a freezer, or in a fridge, or in a cooler place. So that's not the correct answer. Sensitive to humidity, you will add a desiccant to absorb um, moisture. So that is also not the correct answer. The correct answer there is light sensitive, because it's more difficult for light to penetrate through that, because we know that see-through glass or plastic lets the air light through much easier. So this is the correct answer. It's light sensitive. And the sensitive to oxidation is also incorrect. 73% of you had the question correct. That's also definitions, so you will know the different uh, the tablets are manufactured in a certain way, and they have qualities in them that you must protect. So some of them are light sensitive, some of them are hygroscopic, some of them are uh, can oxidate. So what are you going to do to prevent that? So that is something that you must know. If we look at question number 9, which computer program is most suitable for reporting printing? So you will see that this is ELO4. This is one of those that I say you must look at the word most. So you can use any of those to compile a report, but which of those are the one that is the most appropriate, that have all the functions and all the things that you need to produce a good quality writing? So you can use a PowerPoint, but they don't have all the necessary functions. Excel you can use, um, but you will notice Word is the one that's most appropriate for writing. Excel will be more appropriate if you have to do calculations and reports in that matter. But for just writing, Word is the most appropriate. 77% of you had that one correct. So Word is the easiest way to prepare writing a document. Question number 10. What reference source can be consulted if a pharmacist assistant basic is unsure of what the specific cleaning product is to use when cleaning equipment in a community pharmacy? So here you have a setting again, and um, this is now on housekeeping. So what is the most appropriate answer that you will have here? We have the good pharmacy practice, but remember the good pharmacy practice is a guideline. It tells you that you have to clean, but they don't say the how and with what. Your good manufacturing practice, um, if you look at those, they are also only guidelines, and your setting here is a community pharmacy. Um, pharmacological textbook. I'm glad to see no one selected that one. That's more on APIs, and it's not on the cleanings as such. So the standard operating procedure is your correct answer. So a standard operating procedure, it gives you a step-by-step method of how to do it. It gives you the how and the with what. So the SOP is specific. And if you look at that word in your stem, it says what, ensure of what the specified cleaning product is. That is a giveaway to know that this is a SOP. So 69% of you at that one correct. So you could see we had a lot of questions on different ELOs. We had questions on ELO 3 on manufacturing. We had questions on ELO 1 with your scopes, your legislations. We had questions on ELO 2, your stock control or your stock management. Then we also had some on basic principles like your transdermal delivery. We have your amber bottles. Those are your scientific basic knowledge. So we have covered about all of our ELOs, and it is very important that you also look at what is asked. And then in the context, what is the setting? And you will see that legislations are coming through in a lot of those questions, and 42% of your questions is ELO 1. So know which ones you must study more intense to know the most updated and current legislation. So I hand over to the office. Maybe there's some questions. You are welcome to ask some questions.
Thank you, Regina. I do not see any questions at the moment, but we will have a segment at the end to respond to all the questions. Okay, I'm going to jump straight to the remote online examination. So this is about the eligibility to qualify to sit for the exam, what to do, what to prepare in terms of yourself. That has been covered by both facilitators, but in terms of your equipment and preparation for the day of the exam, I will take you through that. So if you look at the examination eligibility criteria, so you might all attend this workshop, but if you do not meet all of the mentioned points here, you might not be able to sit for the actual exam. So if you are currently registered as a pharmacy assistant, learner basic under the new occupational certificate qualification, to be able to write the EISA, you must have completed a minimum of 6 months of training with an accredited provider, and you must have successfully completed all the knowledge, practical, and a work experience module, received a statement of results from the provider. And this is important. The statement should not be sent by you to us, but the provider will do it on the necessary platform. So once that has been uploaded, we will be able to see on our side. You don't have to send it by email to us. And for you to write the EISA, you firstly have to complete the practice EISA and pay the book online for the EISA and pay for the applicable fee, which I will mention later. And if you're currently registered as a qualified pharmacy assistant basic intending to enroll as a pharmacy assistant learner post basic on the new qualification, you must have obviously been registered as a qualified pharmacy assistant basic. You must complete the practice EISA and also book online for the EISA and also pay the applicable fee. And if you're currently a pharmacy student who is registered under the pharmacy assistant basic course, you must obviously be registered on our register as a learner basic, former BPharm student. You must have completed 400 hours in an approved pharmacy and under the direct supervision of a pharmacist, submitted at least one progress report, completed practice EISA, and also booked online for the EISA and paid the applicable fee. So in terms of how the booking is done, we will share once the bookings open. We and I'm in the office will share communication for everyone to book. So you will have to go online on the SAPC website. So you do not respond to the communication or send email to the unit. You have to go online and book yourself. So you go on the SAPC website, log in with your login details. And once you are logged in, on the dashboard, you will see EISA examination. And the first tab further to the left is examination booking. You will click there. So if you do qualify to write for the EISA, you will be able to see the screen. So what you're seeing right now is the current booking that's open, which is the practice EISA. So you see that the date is there, which is the 4th of June. You should be able to then select the venue where you intend to write at for both the calculation and the general section. Because this is a practice EISA, you will see there it says the examination fee is not applicable because you do not pay for the practice EISA. So once you have selected the venue for both the calculation and the general section, you will be taken then to this tab. You can see right now at the time when we took the screenshot, you could still book under home, work, other, or SAPC because you still had available sitting for all those venues. So once you have selected the venue, you will be taken to the screen where you can just click on the tab book examination and the booking will be done. But if it was for an actual EISA where you need to pay, then there will be another screen that shows the method of payment that you'll be using. And this is what I was saying. So if in the case of an actual EISA, there's an applicable fee, which is 737 that needs to be paid for the booking to be accepted, you will have the option then to either use the available credit if you do have credit on your SAPC account. You can also use Visa or MasterCard, or you can use the SID, which will take you to your banking platform. So those are the options available for you to make a payment. So once the booking is submitted, what you will see is pending for for a few minutes. Then after that, you should be able to see the case number. You don't need to contact us. Once you see this information, you should be able to go under the letters and certificates to be able to see the booking confirmation. So in preparing for the examination, you have to make sure that all the details on the SAPC website are updated. So that includes your cell phone number, your email address, as well as the profile picture. So in terms of email address, most people or candidates do capture the email address, but somehow there's always a typo. So instead of at Gmail, there will be N instead of an M, or the dot will be missing. So just make sure when you capture your details, you confirm that they are correct so you do not miss any communication from the office. So all the communication in terms of EISA and any other registration information will be sent via email and SMS. So make sure that all the details are correct. So these are the current dates that are still available for both the practice EISA and the EISA. So as I said, the next practice EISA is scheduled for the 4th of June, 2026, and that is the next week, Thursday. But we do have another one scheduled for the 11th of August. And in terms of the actual EISA, we have 2 remaining for the year. There's one scheduled for the 21st of July, 2026, and the last one for the year will be on the 3rd of November, 2026. But it's important to note these dates that are included on the table. So we have when the openings will be done for each of the actual EISA. So for the EISA that is scheduled for the 21st, the bookings will open on the 9th of June and will close on the 23rd of June. But if you missed the 9th to 23rd of June, you still have an opportunity to book between the 24th and the 7th of July. However, this is considered late booking, so the fee will be different from the 737 that is for the actual EISA. You will pay the late booking fee. The same applies to the one scheduled for the 3rd of November. Bookings will open on the 22nd of September, close on the 6th of October. Late bookings then will open on the 7th of October until the 20th. So for the 2, which is the practice EISA, there's no fee applicable. So you'll be able to book without making any payment. But in terms of the actual EISA, booking fee is 737 per exam, and the late booking fee then is applicable. If you do not book within the first opening, then you'll have to pay a fee of 1,140. So in preparation for the EISA, or just understanding, if there's information that you want to understand, all the documents are available on the website for you. So where do you find these documents? You can go to the SAPC website. You don't need to log in to access these documents. You go under registered persons, and then you fall under the category learner, student, or trainee. So you'll click on that tab. And then under that tab, you should go to assessments. And then under assessments, then you should be able to download or view the manual and the blueprint, as well as any other documents applicable. So you should be able to access the past papers as well from the website. And once you have gone through the past paper, you've tried to answer, you can also look at the model answer, which are also available on the website. You'll also be able to access the workshop, like today's workshop will be uploaded on the website after today. Then you can also go and view the presentation slides on them. And you'll see here where it says EISA, and there is a date here. So this is the date of the next EISA. So the next one for us in this case is the practice EISA scheduled for the 4th of June, and this is where you will access the exam on the day. So you can't access this tab except on the day of the actual exam. So in terms of the remote examination, you have option to choose which venue you would like to write at. So you can choose to write at your place of residence. You can also opt to write at your workplace, the SAPC offices, or other venues such as the library. But in terms of the workplace, you have to make sure with your employer that there will not be any security that will block the exam, because with the workplace, they might have some securities in terms of their infrastructure, and sometimes that can block the exam. So you have to make sure before you choose this venue as an option. And the remote examination, I think this has been covered before, but I will reiterate, it's important to prepare for the examination just like any other examination, even if you're writing at your place of residence. So you have to find a quiet, suitable workplace to write the exam, where there is enough space for your devices as well as the reference material. So you will need the computer or desktop. You will also need to have your phone that will reflect where you are sitting, the environment, and your hands, so that the space should be enough, and also have your reference material around. And for the examination, you have to try and keep calm. We have seen other people panic during the exam, but you have to try and keep calm so that you're able to go through the exam. And even if there are challenges, there will be support available. So should you experience any challenges, there will be an invigilator that will assist with any of the issues. You have to make sure to download all your reference material, electronic reference material, before the examination, because you don't want to be struggling with downloading reference material at the time when you're supposed to be writing the exam. And you must ensure that you have all the necessary equipment that is needed. Your calculator, paper for working out your calculation. Just be careful in terms of the calculator. You might have your cell phone, which you should have for the examination, but you cannot use your cell phone for any other reason except for the invigilation process. So make sure that you have a calculator and not use your cell phone as well. So in terms of the device and connectivity, this is very important. It doesn't matter how much you are prepared for the examination, but if your equipment is not in order on the day, you might not be able to write, or you might struggle and lose time. So you have to make sure that you have the correct devices, that is your laptop or the desktop, as well as a cell phone that has a QR code scanning capability. So the device should have a camera or linked to one with a video capability. Your connectivity should be minimum 3G, and you must make sure that you have all the three browsers on your equipment. So that is Google Chrome, Firefox, and Microsoft Edge. So should you experience any challenges with one, then you can switch to another. It's important to note that even if you're using an Apple or Mac for the examination, you cannot use Safari as a browser. So you must make sure that you download these browsers before the exam. Okay, this is very important. You must make sure that your profile picture is updated on the website before the exam. So obviously we do have the minimum requirements for that profile picture. It must be a color image taken in the last 6 months. And this must be a head and shoulder shot, not your full body picture. This profile picture will be used by the invigilator to verify identity of the candidate writing on the day of the exam. So this is just an example of the profile picture and how or where you can change or update your profile picture. So under the personal profile, you can go and choose file, and then if you want to update, then update your profile picture on there. So where do you find the examination? I think I have already touched on it, but it's important so that we don't make mistakes on the day of the examination. So to access the exam, you don't need to log in onto the SAPC website. You go to the SAPC website, go under the tab Registered Persons, and then go to Learner, Student, or Trainee. If you go to the website and click on this login, you will be logged in onto the SAPC website. However, you will not be able to access the exam. So you can only log in from this direction. So as I said, the next examination is on here. So under the external integrated summative assessment, it says click Please click here to access the Practice EISA. That is for 4 June 2026. That is where you will click. Then that's when you can log in onto the examination, not on that red button. So day of the examination is important. Even though the examination starts at 9, you must log in onto the SAPC website at 8 o'clock. Once you have logged in, you will receive a one-time PIN on your cell phone and email to enter the examination. You'll complete the declaration, read the examination rule, then wait for 9 o'clock for the examination to commence. So everyone, even if we have 1,000 or just 10 people, everyone will have an invigilator. So you might not see the invigilator, but you will have someone invigilating. So if you have questions, you can ask your invigilator either using our WhatsApp option or the platform for the examination. Apologies for that. So you will log in and then wait for 9 o'clock, and then at 9 you will start the examination. There will be an invigilator supporting you throughout until the end of the examination, which is 12:30. So now I'm going to just show you the steps to log in and how to access the examination platform on the SAPC website. It is a video, so you can just watch the video, then we'll continue. Just right now. So throughout your examination,
Welcome to SAPC's step-by-step guide on how to log in to your examination. Ms. Lisbeth Kumede, Manager in the Pre-Registration Department, will guide you through the process.
For examination, you are afforded the opportunity to choose whether you're going to write at your place of residence, you're going to write at a workplace, or you're going to write at any other venue that you think comfortable and fit enough to meet the requirements of the examination. So the SAPC then uses a system called the filtering system for them to then be able to invigilate you throughout your examination session. So when you're writing the examination, you will then require 2 devices. One, a laptop with enough network coverage to cover you throughout the examination, right? So your laptop must have a functioning webcam for us to be able to see you just the way that you are seeing me right now. So throughout your examination, SAPC is monitoring you from the webcam to be able to see what you are looking at and what your eyes are paying attention to throughout your examination. Second thing that you need is a functioning smartphone. Doesn't really matter the brand that you're using as long as its cameras are working on the day of the exam. So before you sit for your exam, make sure that you have 2 devices, a laptop with a webcam, a smartphone with functioning camera, so that we're able to see you from the side. So while we are seeing you from the front view using your webcam, we also need to see a side view using your smartphone. So the smartphone gives us access to see your workstation. We must be able to see what you do with your hands. We must also have a view of your surrounding throughout. Thirdly, is while we are writing, you are required to share your screen. So that means that we need to see what you are doing on the device itself. Whatever tabs we have open, SAPC needs to be able to see that. Because it's an open book exam, you can have actual paper, pen notes that you are using, and you can also have electronic copies that you are using. So while we are able to see what you have on the paper using the smartphone, you also need to share your screen so they're able to see what documents you have opened as you are progressing with the exam. So we are going to go through 2 steps right now. One is how to get through the exam. right? And what you need to do. Two is what SAPC is then able to see as you are writing the examination. I will keep my screen shared so that you're able to see and able to follow through what you need to do on the day of either the practice exam or the actual examination. So you will need to choose one of three browsers that you are comfortable with for the exam. Advice, have all three browsers downloaded prior to the exam. The browsers are Google Chrome, Firefox, or Microsoft Edge. Have all three downloaded, and then you'll be able to see which one you want to use on the day and which one can revert back to should you need to. So for this demo, I will use Google Chrome because that's the one that I usually use, no specific preference whatsoever. I will now share my screen for you to then see what I am doing. So what you do then is we go to the preferred browser. Like I said, I'm going to go with Google Chrome, type in the SAPC website, right? Then you go to the SAPC website. Then please ensure that you do not click on the red login button. Under normal circumstances, you come here for anything else, but for the purposes of EISA, please do not click on the red button. Instead, come here where it says registered persons. When you click on the registered persons, it will give you the different registers of people that we have. When you are on this page, you will see that after pharmacy student, there's learner, student, trainee. That is the role that you currently fall in. When you click on that one, you will see that it will give you the overview of the learner, the scope of practice of the learner, CPDs, applications, and what you are looking for is assessment. You will then click on assessment. When you get to assessment, it will give you all the information that you could possibly need for the EISA. So even right now, as you are prepping for the EISA, this is the page that you can go to. Here you will find the different EISA dates for basic, the different EISA dates for post-basic, right? Below that is all any other information that you could need in preparation for the EISA, including previous presentations. For the purpose of this particular training, when you get to assessment, please click on where it says click here for the date that aligns with the next upcoming EISA. So the next EISA is on the 4th of June, right? So you'll click where it says click here for the EISA of the 4th of June. When you click there, it will take you to a different page that will then have you inputting in your details. So you'll put in your PIN number, your ID number, your password, and then continue into the EISA. We will then go through the validation process, after which we will land on the OTP page. So the OTP is shared via both SMS and email. So whichever is going to access on the day, we will go through that. It will say there that it will receive your OTP within 10 minutes, but usually we get this within a few minutes. So I have my phone next to me. It's going to be easier for me to go to my SMSs to quickly check. And yes, I've already received my SMS, right? So you can see I have my SMS already with me. I got my SMS just now. And then what I will quickly do is put it in, and my OTP is 52806, right? Click continue, and then it will take you through the steps that you need to follow. Right. The first one is it shows you that you must have proper lighting. Make sure that there are no other faces visible except for yourself. You will click next, and then it will start doing the system checks, right? So when it comes to the system checks, one, it will do a browser check. The browser check is to check that you're using a compatible browser. Remember, we said it's either Chrome, Firefox, or Microsoft Edge, right? It will do a webcam check. The webcam check is to check that your camera is on and not connected to anything else. So as you can see, my webcam check failed. Reason being, I am using it on the Teams to record this session, right? Then we'll do a microphone check to see if my microphone is open. Remember, during the examination, you must also be able to hear everything that is happening in the room that you're writing in. The next check will be your screen check to see that you have enabled sharing your screen. We need to be able to see everything that you're doing on the screen. Then you can do a network check to see if you are stable throughout your examination. So with the browser check, I've passed because I went one of the three, which was Chrome, Edge, or Firefox. With the webcam check, I failed. The reason why I failed is because my webcam is currently used for a different platform and not the examination. So that means I need to go then to my Teams, right? And stop sharing my camera so that I can then go back and retry this check since now my camera is no longer being utilized by Team and is now available for the system to use to prompt and during the examination. We're going to go through the check and see my microphone is there. They are able to hear everything that I'm doing throughout the examination. So that passed. We are now on the screen check. With the screen check, I currently have my second screen connected, which is why we are able to see screen 2. When you have two screens opened like this, you are unable to share all of them at the same time. So you'll be forced to choose one. But remember that we say that we must be able to see everything that you're doing. So if you have two screens and you're only able to share one, that technically means that you're not able to see screen 2, right? So if I choose the first screen, which is my busy screen, and I click share, I will definitely fail this check because now there's a second screen that is not being shared and therefore not being monitored, meaning that I couldn't do anything else on the other screen, which is not being part of the investigation. So what I'll need to do is only one screen functioning throughout the examination. I will now click retry, and as you can see, my second screen is no longer connected. Therefore, I will try to show my entire screen and see if I am now able to pass through the checks. I've gone green. It's checking my network to see if currently I am stable. I've checked past that. It's also going to check my web RPC, and I've also passed that. Only then will I be able to click next. So if you fail your browser, your browser can also fail if the version that you are using is old. So make sure that you monitor any other update that your laptop might want you to do prior to the examination. Your webcam, make sure you're familiar with your settings. Test your webcam. Actually go and find your camera from the laptop and try to take a picture just to make sure that it's functioning, right? Also your microphone. Just try, I don't know, call a friend via Teams via the microphone to make sure that it's working. Try and have a Teams meeting to see if you're able to share your screen. Another thing is we will send you a link, right? We will send you a link with the software to test all of this. Make sure that you test so that you are able to identify any problem you might have prior to the examination. When we give you the link, it will perform all of these 6 checks on the device. Make sure that you follow me through so that you can make alternative plans on time. Now that I have all my greens, I'm going to then press next. Then it's going to show me my profile to verify that it's the right person taking the examination. I do update my correct information. I will then press next. Then it's going to ask me to take a photo. So when it comes to this photo, make sure that it is a shoulder width photo. So how I am currently appearing, right? So how I'm currently appearing is a bit of my shoulders are in the photo. My whole face is in the photo. I am not too close to the camera, right? And I'm not too far back. So just make sure that you position yourself very well. Also, my lighting is quite good, right? I don't have that glaring light over my head. It's not too dark. It's just good enough for me to then do what? Take a photo. So when you're here, you then decide on whatever pose you want to strike, right? Just make sure that we're able to identify you. So you stand here, shoulders into the frame a little bit, not too much, and then we take photo. All right. So as you can see, they are saying that there was too much going on when it comes to my photo. There was too many things, there's poor lighting. So now I need to reposition myself and click on retry. If it's saying that there's something wrong with your picture, just click retry and then see if you can reposition yourself and click take photo. Now the system is happy with the photo that I've taken, and only then will there be a next button. Now I will click next. Now it gives you a QR code. This is where your smartphone comes in. If different devices have the QR code scanner in different parts of the device, just make sure that you're familiar with where your QR code scanner is. And if it doesn't have a QR scanner, there are many apps that you can download that will allow you to scan your QR code. Mine came with the phone, so now I'm scanning the QR code. While you are scanning the QR code, your laptop will remain on this screen and nothing will happen. The next button will remain gray. Your focus shifts from the laptop and point to your cell phone. So now focus on the video feed. So I can be able to show you what you are seeing. So as soon as you scan, you will see that on your phone, it will say there that you have scanned it, and then you will have to open the link. When I click open on the link, I'm just going to show you, it's going to ask me to then do a quick recording of my surrounding. When I press there, it's going to ask me to now start recording. I will then click on start recording. When I start recording, I then have to record my whole surrounding, right? So I will then just turn around so that there's a full feed showing exactly where I am. I am showing my entire office, right? To show that there is no one sitting with me in the office. I am all by myself, right? And as you can see there, you can see what the camera is showing. So it's connected with the back camera. Once I have taken a full video, I will then click stop recording. It will ask me to save the recording there at the bottom. I will then click save recording. It asks if I am sure that I want to save the recording. I will say yes. I am sure. It's giving me a preview of the recording, and then it saves the recording. So now it's asking me to please wait while it saves the recording. I am just now following all the instructions from the phone. It says that now the camera has been successfully connected. I can go back to the computer, right? So as you can see, everything that is appearing from my back camera is now available. So what that means then is I need to position the phone in such a way that I am visible. So then I need to find something to balance the phone so that as I'm working, they're able to see my hands and they're able to see what I'm doing. Now that we have successfully connected our phone, and you can see there that you can see me from the phone and from the recording. I will now then close the camera from the laptop so that I can go back to sharing the screen, and you can now also then be able to see what we are now doing. When I go back now, you can see that the next button is available for me to go on to the next step. Remember before, the next button was not available, right? And then once I click start, again, remember I must share my screen. It's asking me to choose what I want to share. I want to share my entire screen, and then I click share. Now we need to go through the declaration. But before we go through it, I want to give you some pointers. You can see here at the bottom of the screen, that's how the invigilator is seeing me. That's the front view camera from the webcam, right? And then my cell phone is on the side also monitoring me. My screen is being shared. So at this point, my invigilator is able to see 3 screens from my end. They're able to see that I'm currently doing my declaration, and that is the only tab open. They're also able to see my front view from the webcam, and they're also able to see me from the camera that I've pointed on the side. Now, I must read through all the declaration. When you get a declaration, all of them will be unticked. You must click, they will be unticked, right? You will actually have to physically tick one of them. I've unticked 3 to show you something. When there's a declaration that is not ticked, you will not have a continue button. So what you will do is you will read through each declaration, right? And then you tick it to say that you will comply. So the first one says that you're writing the examination in a suitable area with minimum anticipated distraction. This is also important when you're choosing your venue, right? The second one says that you are writing the examination at the place that you chose during the booking. If the place that you chose during your booking changes, just let SAPC know that you're no longer going to be writing at home, you're not writing at work, or vice versa, or you're not coming to the SAPC office, so that we know where exactly you'll be writing the examination. Next one, I am not sitting next to anyone. So here you're confirming that you will not be getting any help from anyone, right? You take it. You will not be receiving any assistance from anyone writing the exam and not sitting to any other intern. You take it. You will not communicate, whether it's verbally, electronically, the WhatsApp group, whatever it is, with either a tutor, pharmacist, any other person who can give any assistance during the examination. You will not use any other reference except for the ones printed for the exam. Remember, in the manual, we do list your exams in there. We go to the website, we also list your preferred references there. And then also, we've already spoken about how Google can be used, but not as a reference during the examination. You will not give assistance to anyone. You will not be spoon reading the questions during the examination or noting down the questions during the examination for which you share with anyone. If you are aware of anyone who is recording the examination, screen grading, writing down, and distributing the examination, you will then share this with the SAPC. So now, once you have made sure that all of your declarations are ticked, you will then have a continue button at the end that will then allow you to continue with your examination. Then you can continue. Another note, make sure that the phone is on mute or silence, because just like you saw with mine right now, I got distracted because it rang. And what did I do? I tried to move it to get it silent. When I did that, that means I interrupted my invigilation. So make sure that your phone is on mute so that you do not then get distracted during the examination and you're not then tempted to touch your phone and interrupt your invigilation. Now that you have landed here, you are now going to be given your instructions. And as you can see, it said that my mobile camera is disconnected. It got disconnected just by me trying to answer the phone. So when you get any violation during the examination, all your violations are going to appear here. And how do I then reconnect my phone? I will click here, right? QR code, rescan the QR code. Once I've rescanned the QR code, then my phone will be reconnected and that message will then disappear. While we are here, what you have options here is we have your calculator, we have your QR code, your QR codes, if in case it gets disconnected, we have the chat function. With the chat function, this is where you are now able to chat to the invigilator regarding anything, right? So say I want to confirm what time my exam will be. I can say why will be time. What time will be exam, right? And then I send it to my invigilator will be able to receive this message and they'll be able to respond back to me. So now here, while you're sitting here, you then get your instructions. With the instructions, you're being told how long the examination is, what you need to get to be able to pass, how the different sections are divided, what time it is for the different examinations. Again, we're able to go through the instructions just to make sure that you don't miss anything, right? And then you are landed and start the exam. So when you get to start the exam, examinations are scheduled to start at 9. When you get here before 9, do not click the start the exam. If you do click start the exam, it will tell you that you are still waiting for the exam to be started. And then if you are clicking it after 9, you will go to the examination itself. Say you are landed here and you are going through the instructions and 9 hit and the exam becomes open for you to be able to access it. And a message will pop up that says that your examination is now open. You will click OK and then you will click start the exam. If you attempt to access the exam before 8 a.m. in the morning, you will be put in the waiting lobby, right? So let's go through the times again. If you log in before 8 a.m., you will be put in the waiting lobby until 8. So 8 a.m. So if you try to log into the exam before 8 a.m., you'll be put in the waiting lobby, right? You need to wait until 8 and then you put into here when you start when you are waiting to start the exam. If you are in here between 8 and 9, when you're waiting at this stage, you can go through the instructions, you can tap yourself, and if you get to after 9, you'll be able to hit the start button and access the exam. So say I am here and it's after 9 and my on the day of the examination and my exam is open, I will then hit the start button, which will then take me to the actual examination where I will now be able to see my patients and then go through everything that I need to do, right? So this is the first part, which is what you need to do as an intern. What I will then now do is give you a quick review of what we as your invigilators are able to see. So it's better understanding of what is expected of you on the day of the examination. So this is just so that you have caution of what we have open on the day, right? So remember, when I log in, I am the intern, right? So I'm not sure if you're able to hear the echo that is currently going on. And that echo is simply because the invigilator is able to also hear what I am doing. So when the invigilator clicks on the current intern that is writing, which is now myself, remember, on this tab is me here on the exam, right? And then I'm on this tab to show you how it looks like. So now my invigilator is able to see 3 screens. Remember I said this is my front view from the webcam, right? And then this is the side view from my cell phone. They are able to see my workstation, they're able to see my pen, my notepad, and they are able to see everything else that I am doing. That's the second screen. And then the third screen is they are able to see my workstation. So now what they are able to see is what I am doing on the laptop because my screen is shared, right? Remember I said that means that they're able to see. So you can see from the screen share already, they can see that I have my Proctor tab open and they can see the second tab here at the corner, which is the examination. So if I were to open, for example, another tab, let's open another tab and then we're going to say YouTube for whatever reason. As long as I am on this tab, they will then be able to see. So as you can see, they were able to see that I was on YouTube briefly, right? And then when I close my YouTube, then you can see that also on the screen, the YouTube disappears. So you are allowed to go to different tabs. However, you must know that it will tell you that your focus has changed to a different window. This is fine if what you are doing is allowed because you are aware that they are able to see what you're doing. However, this is also to notify your invigilator to say the intern is no longer on the exam page, they are looking at something else. Please go and have a look at what they are looking at to decide if it's something that they can look at or it's something that they shouldn't be looking at. Right? So this is just how the examination is going to be on the day and how you are going to be invigilated. We will now go back to the session for you to have any question that you might have answered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now going back to the presentation. I think most of what I'm going to cover now would have been covered already on the video that was just displayed now. So it's important. These are just important messages that you need to take note of while writing. So in the case where you're writing using a computer that doesn't belong to you and you get this error message that says adjust your date and time, it's important to always make sure that the time set on your device is Harare, Pretoria. If it's any other, or if you're writing outside of the country, you need to adjust to that timeline, because if it's not adjusted, then you will not be able to continue with the examination. Another one is live proctoring is not connected. Obviously that was covered. You need to make sure that your phone is connected so that you can continue. That was covered in the video. And if you try to start examination before it has started, this is the error that you will get, that the examination has not started. But once it starts, then you will get this message. And then in terms of the format, this has been covered as one question per page. You cannot select which question to answer first. So all questions are randomized. So you might be sitting next to someone who's writing the same examination, but their question one will not be your question one. It's a timed examination, so it's important to note that once the time has elapsed, the examination will close automatically. You are unable to revisit any question that you have answered, but for those ones that you have skipped, any unanswered question may be revisited at the end of the examination before you submit. Always go for the best single answer. This is a multiple choice question with 4 possible answers. So you should always look out for the best possible or best answer. And this has been covered. There will be violation during the examination, so you have to try and avoid. You can use Google to access the approved online reference, but you cannot use it as a reference itself. So any action undertaken by the candidate to gain any unfair academic advantage, such as using Google as a reference material, can be regarded as an offense, and this may include but not limited to cheating, copying, or possession of unauthorized material. So if there's any conversation in the background, your invigilator will let you know, or if you lose focus of the window, your invigilator will let you know, or if there's a disconnection to your mobile phone, or if you're using a second screen, or your microphone is muted or is not working, the invigilator will warn you. But then if you do not then correct whatever has been discovered, then you might be removed from the examination altogether. So these are just the frequently asked questions. Where do you get help during the examination? You have seen you do have the option for the chat function on the actual app itself. So you can type your question and your invigilator will respond on the chat. You can also make use of the WhatsApp messages, send a message to the invigilator, and the invigilator then will respond to you. What if the invigilator needs to contact me? We have your most recent contact details on our register. That's why it's important to always make sure that you update your details. Your cell phone must be fully charged and must have hit data, because we can obviously make contact either on email or WhatsApp. The invigilator may call or send a message on the cell phone number that has been provided to SAPC. Again, important to update all the contact details on the website. What to do if you experience load shedding or you lose connection or electricity during the exam. You must keep calm. That is always important. Before the exam, make sure you check your load shedding schedule and make any alternate plan. But then if that happens during the examination, obviously you must communicate. Ensure that the laptop is fully charged before the examination. Ensure you also have an alternative Wi-Fi connection if you're using a fiber connection. And if you're unable to find any alternative Wi-Fi connection or need to be connected to a power supply, you can do so, but you must notify the invigilator on WhatsApp before you do so. If load shedding happens during the examination, your work will be saved while you're making an alternative plan. What happens to the questions you have answered if you lose connection? Again, don't worry about it. All the questions that have been answered will be saved even if you didn't press the submit button. When you log on, again, you will only have access to the questions that haven't been answered as yet. The questions will also still be randomized and they may be renumbered from what you've seen before. You just have to continue and answer the questions as they appear. What should you do if the invigilator notifies you that your cell phone view or is not connected? You have to go to that plus, the circle with a plus sign on your left corner. Click on it, then you have the option for the QR scanning. Then you can use your QR scanner from your phone then to reconnect. What should I do if I need to change exam venue? All changes to the bookings, if already submitted, you must communicate via email so that we can make the changes on our side before you start with the examination. What should I do if I disconnected and on login, you have a pop-up message that this page has been reopened? So you have to close all the browsers that you have open. Clear history, that is important. Clear any history for the last 24 hours because it might be in the background that is still open in the browser. So you just clear history for the last 24 hours, use another browser. So there's three options available. So if you're using Google Chrome now, then you can change to Microsoft Edge and that shouldn't be a problem. Where you sit is very important. We can't stress this enough. Images are taken of the candidate throughout the examination. So if you're writing in your bedroom, which is totally fine, you must make sure you're in a obviously exam ready image. So you can't be in your pajamas, you can't be, those kind of things. So you just have to make sure that you look as though you're going into an examination room. Ensure that there's sufficient lighting all the time. Test the lighting beforehand by taking a selfie of yourself. Ensure that your camera is on, dressed appropriately. As I said, the images will be taken as part of the permanent record under your profile. If the invigilator cannot see the images taken, they will either phone you or make contact to let you know that you need to make sure that you are visible. And when you receive the results, can you view your exam paper or can the examination be remarked? The first part is that the examination results will be released once the results have been analyzed and verified, and this takes about 8 weeks. That is for the actual EISA. If it's a practice EISA, it takes about 2 days. However, if it's an actual EISA, it takes a period of 8 weeks. So if you write today, 8 weeks from now, that's when the results will be released. And you can apply to review your examination, but there is a fee applicable. You'll be allowed to view the exam questions against the answers you have provided, and the correct answer will also be indicated. You may ask the facilitator for the reference that or the steps that were used if it's a calculation, and you are permitted to make notes. However, you may not take any photos or make copies of the actual examination. You may not apply for a remark because, as I said, it takes about 8 weeks for the analysis and verification. So by the time the results are published, we know that they are correct and have been verified. Okay, so I have included as part of the slide the link to test the compatibility of your equipment, whether it's a laptop or a desktop. You can look at the website to get this link, but this will also be shared the day before the examination. So you can check now, but it's also important to make sure before the examination, the day before the examination, you also check that the equipment is compatible and all the updates are done so that you do not struggle on the day of the examination. Okay, I think we can take questions. The communications team will assist with questions. We are at 11:03 because we started 10 minutes after 9, so we will end the workshop at 10 past 12. So we have about 6 minutes to go through the questions. Communications team.
Thanks, Busletto. First question, can you use a cell phone to write and how do we get an invigilator?
Okay, so in terms of the equipment to use during the examination, I think we did cover that. You can either use a computer or a laptop. A cell phone is only used for the proctoring functionality, not to write. So no, you can't use a cell phone. And in terms of the invigilator, it was covered in the video. There is an invigilator. You might not see the invigilator, but there is someone invigilating. But if you have any question or you need clarity on something, you can use the chat option. Then they will respond. But you have the invigilator monitoring the examination throughout the time of the exam.
What percentage do we need to pass?
Okay, the percentage to pass is 50%. The overall percentage to pass the examination is 50%. But we have two sections, that is the calculation and the general section. You also, that's the sub minimum. So for both the calculation and the general section, you must have a minimum of 50% and the overall 50 between the two sections. So if you get 100 on the one but get 20 on the other one, you will not be successful. So you have to get a sub minimum 50 on both section and the now overall minimum of 50% for the overall exam. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Letso. There are no other questions at the moment. If attendees do have questions, they can type them in the Q&A section on Teams, or if you're joining us on YouTube, you can put them in the comments and we will ask them out. We'll give them a few moments.
Okay, but then if the questions arise after the workshop, the email indicated below, that's psp.aisa@sapc.za.org, can also be used then to send those questions.
Okay, our next question, can I exit the exam before the 3 hours have elapsed?
So if you have answered all the questions and submitted the exam and did the survey, you are more than welcome to leave the exam.
When must I complete my course to write the final EISA exam on the 21st of July?
And so that's before the bookings close. I can't say the actual dates, but to be able to book for the exam, you must meet the minimum criteria. So before the closing of the bookings, yes.
Is the test the same for the learner basic and the qualified basic, or do we write different exams?
It's the same paper for everyone on the day.
How long does it take to receive the results for the practice EISA?
So for the practice days, that's about 2 days. Actual EISA, 8 weeks.
Can we use our cell phones for research during the exam?
No, you may not. So I think there is indicated on the video, whatever you're doing while the exam is still on, we must be able to see. So if your research is on the online approved reference material, you should use your computer, or you can have a printed reference material, but you cannot use the cell phone.
Can I write both the practice and the actual exam at the same venue?
Yes. So the venue selection is totally up to the candidate. So whatever is convenient for the candidate. So if you want to write from place of residence for both, it's totally up to you. As long as you have functioning equipment, that should be okay. While waiting for you, Natalie, I'll just move to the screen. This is the post workshop survey. While we waiting for more questions, you can just submit your survey for the workshop. Thank you.
If I get marks below 50% for the practice EISA, can I still write the actual EISA?
Yes, so the purpose of the practice EISA is just to prepare you as the candidate and also to make sure that you have functioning equipment ready for the actual EISA. So whether you pass or you fail, you will still be able to write the actual EISA.
Should it happen that we change venue, where do we inform the SAPC? Is there an email address to use?
Yes, so this is the email to use for all EISA related queries. So that is psp.eisa@sapc.za.org. So if you want to share the proof of payment or you have a query related to the EISA, please make use of this email address. And something that I had forgotten. So for those that want to make a payment into the SAPC website before the bookings open, you can make the payment, make the reference, your P number, share the proof of payment to this email address, and that will be then allocated to your account. So at the time of the bookings, then you will have credit in your account.
Am I allowed to have my notes with me? For example, an exam pad that has information I've written down that might help.
Yes, so your personal notes allowed. The only thing that is not allowed is you making use of past papers, but all the reference material in preparation for the exam will be allowed.
It looks like that was the last question, Busiletso.
Okay, thank you, Natalie. So this is the QR code or the link to the survey. You can also follow the SAPC WhatsApp channel using this QR code. And the last slide is just a reminder of the National Pharmacy Conference. Should you want to attend, here's the information. And that is it from my side. Thank you. Anything from the comms team? If not, then thank you everyone for making time for this workshop. I hope this will help in preparation for writing the EISA. Thank you very much and have yourself a wonderful day.